Welcome my channel. I am Jober Hossein, sleeping writer. The sun was only a thin line on the horizon when Cole Maddox pushed open the creaking door of the Broken Spur Saloon. Morning light spilled across the dusty wooden floor, catching the foggy air stirred up by the previous night's card games and whiskey. Cole had slept on a narrow cot in the back room, same as he had for the past 3 years, ever since he had drifted into the town of Red Rock with nothing but a worn saddlebag and a horse too thin to sell. Life had not been kind to Cole. Born to a family of ranch hands in New Mexico, he'd spent his childhood chasing cattle, mending fences, and dreaming of owning a piece of land he could call his own. But droughts, debts, and a father who died too young had forced him onto the drifting trail before he turned 20. Now at 31, he was known all across the county as the poorest cowboy west of the Rio Grande, a nickname said with humor by some and pity by others. Still, Cole had never let poverty crush his spirit. He took small jobs wherever he could, breaking horses, delivering supplies along dangerous country roads, helping ranchers drive cattle for a few dollars and a meal. But all his earnings went to keeping his old horse, Whiskey Jack, fed and alive. That horse was all he had in the world. On that quiet morning, Cole saddled Whiskey Jack and rode toward the Miller Ranch for a day's work. Old Man Miller was offering $2 for a full day repairing fences. Hard labor for little pay, but Cole knew better to complain. Work was work. As Cole approached the ranch, he spotted another cowboy already waiting at the fence. Eli Mercer, a tall man with a cruel smile and a reputation for trouble. Rumor had it he'd once shot a ranch hand over a card game dispute, but nothing was ever proven. Cole tipped his hat politely. "Mornin', Eli." Eli narrowed his eyes. "Heard you're taking jobs that don't belong to you." Cole blinked. Didn't know work could belong to anyone. Eli spat on the dirt. "It does when I say it does." Old Man Miller came hobbling out of the barn before things escalated. "Boys, I hired the both of you. Now get to work. Sun's up." Cole nodded and set to work stringing wire along the posts. Throughout the morning, he felt Eli's glare burning into his back, but he ignored it. Cole wasn't a fighter. He'd seen too many men throw their lives away on pride. When noon arrived, Miller brought out bread and beans for lunch. Cole sat in the shade of a tree, grateful for a break. Eli, however, stomped over and kicked the dust near Cole's boots. "You think you're better than me, Maddox?" Cole sighed. "I don't think nothing, Eli. I'm just trying to earn a day's wage." Eli snarled. "You're in my way, and men who get in my way don't tend to have long futures." Old Man Miller shouted from afar, "That's enough, Eli. Let the man eat." Eli backed off, but not before giving Cole a look that chilled him more than the morning wind. By sundown, Cole's muscles ached. His hands were covered in small cuts, and his shirt was stiff with sweat. Still, he felt a small sense of pride. He'd worked hard, honest work. As he collected his pay, Miller gave him an extra $1. "For putting up with Eli," he said quietly. Cole smiled. "Thank you, sir." He planned to buy oats for Whiskey Jack, maybe even a hot meal at the saloon. He mounted his horse and began the long ride back toward Red Rock. But halfway through the trail, he noticed something was wrong. A rider was following him. Whiskey Jack snorted nervously. Cole tugged the reins and slowed to a walk. "It's all right, boy." But it wasn't all right. Eli Mercer came into view, riding hard, a revolver gleaming at his hip. Cole's heart sank. "Eli, I ain't looking for trouble." Eli's voice echoed cold across the empty land.
Trouble found you, Maddox. You took my wages, took Miller's favor, and now I'm taking something back." Cole raised both hands slightly. "I got $3. You can take every cent." Eli shook his head. "I don't want your money. I want your pride." Before Cole could react, Eli fired a shot. The bullet hit the ground near Whiskey Jack's hoofs, sending the horse rearing violently. Cole lost his balance and hit the dirt hard. Pain shot across his ribs. Whiskey Jack bolted, terrified, disappearing into the darkness. "No!" Cole cried, scrambling to his feet, but Eli pointed his gun straight at him. "Run after your horse, cowboy. Run." Cole stumbled through the desert scrub, lungs burning, ribs aching. He shouted for Whiskey Jack, but the horse was gone, spooked and alone. Behind him, Eli laughed before turning his horse back toward town. Cole limped for nearly an hour before finding Whiskey Jack tangled in a patch of thorny brush, bleeding from the legs. The loyal animal whinnied pitifully as Cole approached. "Oh, Jack, what did he do to you?" Cole whispered, tears burning his eyes. He worked carefully to free the horse, whispering soft reassurances, but the wounds were deep. Whiskey Jack's breathing grew ragged, his legs unable to bear weight. Cole's heart shattered. "Stay with me, boy, please." But Whiskey Jack laid his head on Cole's lap and took his final breath before the stars fully appeared in the sky. Cole stayed kneeling in the desert long after nightfall, holding the only friend he'd ever truly had. All the loneliness of his life collapsed in that moment. By morning, he was back in Red Rock, walking slowly down the street with trembling steps. His clothes were torn, his body bruised, and his eyes hollow. Sheriff Daniels spotted him and hurried over. "Cole, what happened? You look like death itself." Cole told him everything. The sheriff frowned deeply. "Eli's been stirring trouble for years, but this is different." He placed a firm hand on Cole's shoulder. "I'm sorry about your horse. I'll bring him in." But Cole shook his head. "Don't hurt him. Just keep him away from me." The sheriff nodded solemnly. Cole returned to the Broken Spur Saloon, sat at a corner table, and stared at the empty space where Whiskey Jack's saddle had once rested. Bartender Ruth Harris approached quietly. "Heard what happened, Cole?" She said softly. "I'm real sorry, Cole." He managed a small smile. "Guess some men ain't meant to catch a break." Ruth sat across from him. "You're wrong about that. You're one of the kindest men in Red Rock. People see it, even if they don't say it." For the first time in years, Cole felt warmth, human warmth, reach through the cracks of his weary heart. "Maybe," he said quietly, "maybe there's something left for me yet." Ruth nodded. "There is, and you won't face it alone." Cole never became rich. He didn't suddenly own land or strike gold, but over time, the people of Red Rock looked after him. Ruth gave him regular meals. The sheriff made sure Eli stayed far away. Miller kept giving him work. Cole carried the memory of Whiskey Jack wherever he went, his loyal companion, his last piece of the drifting past. And though he remained a poor cowboy, he found something far more precious than money. A place where he finally belonged, a town that treated him like family, and a reminder that even a life full of hardship could hold moments of grace if a man kept his heart open to them.